So today we're gonna do some chatting. So look around my colorful insane asylum that I call my home office. Look at all the color, look at all the piles. What I love about this view is that you get to look out into my reception area, and that's what's up over my right shoulder. You get to see what's in my office, and because of this mirror behind, you get to see what's actually behind me all at once. So, all right, so I know that would make some of you very, very anxious, but it doesn't make me anxious. So I want to talk today about the concept of wellness and well-being, and what does that mean, and really what does that mean to you, because that is the most important thing that you need to find out and discover in order to live the best life that you can. So pulmonary wellness, which is what we have called ourselves for the past 20 plus years, okay? And the question is, what do we mean when we say the word wellness? Wellness means different things to different people. And a few days ago, I asked you some questions, and I said, how many of you are at your peak physically? How many of you are at your peak emotionally? How many of you are at your peak financially? How many of you are at your peak spiritually? And the list can go on. And I have to credit James Coe PT for opening my eyes to that thought process. Things that make me feel amazing might make you feel very uncomfortable, and vice versa. As you look behind me, that what appears to be chaos might make you completely insane, or it might make me completely insane.
But it doesn't.
So if you're wondering what these things are, this is some of the clothes that I make based on my artwork. So anyway, so let's go back to the concept of wellness. So it's very important during this time that we spend in boot camp for you, if you have not already figured this out, to decide what is important to you. What are your priorities? What is your definition of being well? What is your definition of well-being? We're looking at it from a health perspective, a happiness perspective, a resources perspective, an ability perspective to do things that you want to do. Now, what you want to do might be different than what I want to do. I'm pretty sure that most people don't want to be short of breath. And I'm pretty sure that most people don't want to not be able to walk, and don't want to be able to climb stairs, and don't want to be able to walk up a hill or run for the bus. So there are certain basic things that we probably all want to be able to do, things like being able to breathe, obviously, being able to walk, being able to climb stairs or walk uphill. But once we can do those things, what we choose to do with them may be very different. You may choose to go to an opera. I may choose to go to a rock concert. You may choose to go to the second floor in church for the first time in a long time, etc., etc. So there's many different things. But my point is, the term wellness is kind of a concept that is, while we have a general idea of it, I think it's really important for us to also have a specific idea of it. But what I encourage you to do at this time is to start thinking about the things that specifically will indicate to you that you are on the path to wellness. So maybe you have a level 1 goal, a level 2 goal, and a level 3 goal. So level 1 may be something like being able to walk a block to the grocery store. Level 2 might be able to climb the 2 flights of stairs to the opera house. Level 3 might be to take that vacation with your family next year, right? So I have certain things, that are important to me. And I say I have 1-minute goals, I have 5-minute goals, I have 15-minute goals, 30-minute goals, 1-hour goals, 4 to 6 hour goals, 12-hour goals, 24-hour goals, week, month. I don't really think much further ahead than that because I am an extremely in the moment person. I think moment by moment. When I get an idea, I do it, as evidenced by this program here, which came together very, very quickly. The key point that I'm trying to make here is I want you to there is a magnificent quote by Dr. Seuss that says, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Dr. Seuss. One of the things that I value most in myself and others is the idea of authenticity, the ability to be who you are, to be comfortable in your own skin, and to be yourself in all circumstances. Now, it's not always simple, okay? We all have different situations where we are expected to conform to social or societal norms, right? Sometimes they're not social or societal. They may be imposed by family or friends. Often they are very much self-imposed, where we do what we do because we are expected to do it, because there are expectations of us. And in these situations, I hearken back to remind you of Dr. Seuss, who says, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind," okay? It is really important for us to be ourselves, to not have to play a role that is not us. It is really important for us to be comfortable in our own skin and in our own home and in our own environment. And I think that authenticity is the key that allows us to unlock different life experiences that allow us to grow and that allow us to deepen our experience of the world and those in it and that in it. So often, our lives are upended by things that we feel we have no control over. Chronic illness is one of those things. So you're diagnosed with a disease, and then there's sort of like this path that appears to be laid out for you for the next 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then you die. Except that this path may or may not be your path. This path may or may not be your destiny. This path may or may not be your truth. And just because it was 99 out of 100 other people's truth before you does not mean that it has to be your truth. My point in saying this to you is to let you know that your experience is yours. There are certain shared experiences or certain communal experiences, certain commonalities and mutualities amongst people. As I've mentioned previously, when we are diagnosed with a disease, we often are treated as that disease. So in other words, when you go to the doctor, you are COPD or pulmonary fibrosis or pulmonary hypertension. That becomes who you are. That's how you're treated. Well, you have COPD, so you're expected to do A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and I'm not talking about the medications. This is what you can expect. And everybody wants to tell you what to expect. And nobody asks you what you want, or what do you hope for, or what do you wish for, or what are you willing to do in order to change the face of your destiny. It's not necessarily an easy thing to do to change your destiny. And it's not always a possible thing. It's not always an easy thing to do to change your destiny. Especially when there are forces outside of us that are all sort of pushing us to that way. It's like when somebody's encouraging you to do something that you don't want to do, but that the community expects you to do. Well, you should go to school and take this job. Well, your father was a shoemaker, you should be a shoemaker. Your mother was a doctor, you should be a doctor. You should get married and have children. It's very easy for somebody to look at you and tell you what you should do, right? There's plenty of people telling you how you are going to get out of the hole. But there's not a lot of people who are able to look at themselves and be introspective and help themselves get out of the hole or avoid the hole or walk down a different street. It is very important for you to give thought to the things that are important to you, and very important for you to give thought to the things, the qualities, the values, the acts that make you who you are. Because there's only one you, and your experience is yours alone. And like I said, while there are many people who want to tell you what is going to happen, they are not always right, and they're often wrong. It's very important for you to ponder these things so that you can make the best decisions for yourself, and so that you can make the most authentic decisions, and so that you can make the decisions that are most consistent with your character, with your spirit, with your being, with your soul, with your intellect, with who you are. Again, it's very easy for us to become sort of pigeonholed. You're COPD, you're pulmonary fibrosis, you're lung cancer, you're pulmonary hypertension. And the sad part about that is that after enough experiences like that, or after powerful enough experiences like that, we start to believe it, and we start to get the idea that, hey, you know what, maybe I am COPD. And we start to get the idea that, hey, you know what, maybe I will just keep getting more short of breath until I wither away, or worse, smother and die, right? Because that's another thing that people worry about a lot. Or maybe I am pulmonary fibrosis. Maybe I really do have 3 to 5 years to live. Or maybe I am pulmonary hypertension and I can expect this, this, and this. But again, changing your destiny can be a very difficult process, but it's not necessarily impossible. If you're willing to put your own self on the line, if you're willing to put your own head on the chopping block, if you're willing to have enough skin in the game to override all of the messages that are coming to you from everybody and everything around you, from your family to your friends to your doctors to your nurses to the television to Google to this to that to the other thing, right? The key concept for today is authenticity. Being yourself. If you're not sure who that is, finding yourself and discovering those things and really actualizing and internalizing those things that make you exactly who you are. If we were all together in a room, as we will be at some point, okay, we would discover things about each other that don't have anything to do with shortness of breath or COPD or pulmonary fibrosis or pulmonary hypertension or lung cancer or anything else that we talk about. We'd find out that Sarah likes to knit or John loves the baseball games, right? And it's those things that so often get lost when we're diagnosed with a chronic disease. It's those things that sort of are the first to fall by the wayside. And that's why I encourage you, again, to be who you are and say what you feel and do what you love. Do what you love. How many people are doing what they love? How many people are really doing what they love all day, every day? Nobody's always doing what they love, but you know what? There's a lot of people that are rarely doing what they love. I know people, I used to work with them when I first started, and they hated their jobs back then. And that was 20 years ago, and those people are still there working those jobs, right? So my point is, figure out who you are, figure out what's important to you, and then go chase that. And then go chase that with everything in your being. And find out who you are and what you love and what you're supposed to be doing right now. Chronic disease or no chronic disease, you're still you. And it's important for you to actualize and internalize those things that make you who you are. A lot of people say, you know what? I used to be this. I used to be that. My old self, right? I want to get back to my old self. Or what happened to me? Who did I become? You're still you, okay? And so I encourage you to look for and seek out and search for at all costs those qualities, those characteristics, those beliefs, those loves, those joys, those enthusiasms, those thrills, those pleasures that make you distinctly and uniquely who you are. And then let's fight for those. And let's figure out what the barriers are to those things. And let's work on eliminating those barriers. And let's work on getting you back to being your most authentic self. Your most authentic self. Because nothing is more important than being you. Not money, not fame, nothing. Okay? And that's what's lost a lot. That's what's lost a lot. You know, we have this idea of people and they sort of get grayer and grayer, or they become more and more transparent, or more and more, you know, sort of, they fade away and they fade away and they fade away. And it's like, you know, and we have this idea of people, and you know, as things come up, especially in light of in the context of a chronic disease, very often people try to dictate your journey. And you know, one thing I don't do is I don't try to dictate people's journey, because God knows I don't like people dictating mine. I like to make my own choices. I like to make my own decisions, even if they're dumb. I like to try them out. And that's what I want you to do. That's what I encourage you to do. I'm not trying to tell you to be A, B, and C. I'm telling you to be Y, O, U, and to do the things that make you who you are. You know, again, it's like you get diagnosed with lung cancer, and so what happens? You say, okay, we see a chest x-ray, then it's a CAT scan, then it's a lung biopsy, then it's surgery, then it's chemo, then it's radiation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like this whole conglomeration and this whole conflagration of things, or this whole sort of procession that goes along with that. And at a certain point, I think we all have to kind of pull the emergency brake and say, hold on a second, and this is not who I am. Who I am is who I am. And I will uniquely deal with this situation as only I can. And I'll take whatever help I can get from whoever wants to give it, but I will ultimately make the decisions as to what's going to be my way and what's going to be the highway. Okay? So one of the constant themes of Ultimate Pulmonary Wellness and the Pulmonary Wellness and Rehabilitation Center, and one of the themes in my life and in my interactions with people, is always to say, you know what, there's many ways to do things. I say all the time, like Malcolm X, we'll get it done by any means necessary. And your way is not necessarily my way. So I always encourage people to do what's best for themselves. If it means going to another rehab center, God bless you. Good luck. I don't need the patients. It's okay. If it means going to another online program, God bless you. Good luck. I don't need the people. It's okay. I want you to do what's best for yourself. I want you to figure that out. And I will help you if I can. I'm more than happy to. I had a great person named Joe Rosenthal who came into my life at exactly the right time in 1995. And he taught me a lot of things. And one of the things he used to say was, I trust my patients to know what's best for themselves. That's an important thing, because there's many people who take the position, I will tell you what's best for you. I have a doctor who said to me, you know you, but I know 1,000 of you. I've said that too, okay? So there is that, but I say this a lot, like in basketball, there's a time to play man-to-man and a time to play zone, right? And so there's that dichotomy between I trust my patients to know what's best for themselves and you know you, but I know 1,000 of you. So sometimes there's a time for I trust you to know what's best for yourself, and other times there's a time for you know you and I know 1,000 of you. But my goal is not to make any decisions for you. My goal is to show you the possibilities and to show you the things that have been successful for me and for my patients. And I should really take that back, and I should reverse that order, and I should say for my patients and for hundreds and thousands. And it's these thousands of patients that I've had the opportunity and the good fortune to interact with before you, because that's where 95% of my information comes from, is my patients. The cumulative trial and error of our team and all of the patients that we've treated before you. And, little by little, just the idea of just keep shining that diamond, keep cutting and cutting and cutting and trimming away the stuff that doesn't work, and whittling it down and whittling it down and whittling it down until, like I said, the information that we have is so concentrated. My intention is never to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. My intention is to share with you my experience and my patient's experience, and to share with you what has worked best and what doesn't work at all, to hopefully streamline your search in finding your own version of ultimate pulmonary wellness. That's it. So what's the point? The point is, get yourself educated, learn about your disease, learn about its symptoms, its characteristics, learn about the best treatments, learn about the best behaviors, but most importantly, think about the things that make you who you are, that make you uniquely you, those things that are important to you, those characteristics, those qualities, and then fight like hell to hold on to those things. That's life. That's life. All right, people. Day 13. I hope you have a great day. Lucky 13.